Hi there, I'm Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to welcome Edinburgh-based band Iron Altar, and I have the twin guitarists Dan and Neil with me. So how are you guys doing? How have you been through the lockdown? Have you been lucky enough to keep on working, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we managed to do some. It definitely went on hold a little bit, but we got some stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been good. Yeah, and still working, not out of job or anything, so can't complain.
Yeah, it's just like fun and games. It's a completely changed world now, So, but
Sure.
I hope it gets back to normal as soon as. So we're going to talk about things, Iron Altar. So you released your debut album, Pillars of Blood, just over 2 years ago now, and you followed it by your latest single of new track, Cruor, in March of this year. I probably pronounced that wrong, so you can correct me. So with the lockdown, have you been using this time constructively and written more songs?
Oh, yeah, and we've got loads of songs actually. Since we were not gigging, nothing else to do, I guess, except write new tunes. So we've got a bunch of like 15, 16, something like that, songs on the go, I think, at the moment. But so yeah, I think, in a way it's been good, but obviously it's been shit because we've not got all these gigs we had planned, but
yeah,
make the most of it, I guess, otherwise. So no, it's been good. Yeah, it's nice to get good writing done. So
yeah. So do you think songs are moving along quicker because you've got more times in your hand, or is it a wee bit slower because you can't really get each other's opinions in the rehearsal space, for example? Or
I don't know. I think for me, everything kind of slowed down a bit, which was good. I put a lot of pressure on myself to try and get stuff done, but there's nothing to work towards at the moment. So we can actually chill out and take a bit of time and just write and enjoy it, really. Rather than just pushing it,
normally you're jamming for gigs, like practicing, because we've got certain gigs coming up and certain things, so you've got to kind of make sure you're on the ball with the songs you have. So it's good to have a bit of time to just write new riffs, record new things in the cave, and we can obviously still share all the kind of ideas and stuff. So it slows down a wee bit, I guess, because you can't go into the room as much and flesh things out. But there's a million ideas there, so it's good to have that when we do get back properly. So
that kind of follows on then. So how are you guys communicating your ideas to each other?
Yeah, so we both can record stuff from home and then just share it around. We'd started doing a bit of programming for drums and stuff like that, but there's been a bit of hold up on that side of things. But I think all of us have the capability to do it from home. So it's it's just rough ideas. It gives you a good starting point for when you do go into the room to actually jam it out. And then inevitably change everything,
But say, but have all these ideas, and you're like, this is exactly how I want it. But as soon as you get in, it all gets taken apart and put back together in a completely different order, or we'll just be like, actually, I hate this now. Scrap that. I loved it a month ago. Now it's terrible. Get rid of it. So I think there's a lot of kind of picking bits out that are good and then keeping them, but a lot of stuff gets scrapped and changed or moved around and stuff anyway. So I try not to be too kind of set with this is the way it has to be, because when it goes in, you're always gonna change and move stuff around. So
so what do you guys record your stuff on? What do you record your riffs on?
For me, it's just on the laptop. They just got a little sound card here and just plug into it and use plugins. So I'm not mucking around with amps or anything like that. It's just all digital. And it's good because I can chop and change bits. And I'm like, actually, I want to change this bit of a riff and just cut it out and add another bit. And it's quite a good tool. Yeah.
And I've been using Reaper on my laptop as well, but I've just bought a PC off Skoogs, our bassist. Must have been April or something. So it was once lockdown was kind of kicking in. So just so I could do more stuff in the house. But I'm a Neanderthal. I hate computers and technology, but I've bitten the bullets. I know I have to actually do recording, especially now. So just sort of similar, just recording in the house, doing wee bits and bobs, just cutting and editing stuff yourself. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's good to get the ideas down so you can kind of not forget stuff and then share it.
Yeah, definitely. So you say you've got 15 or 16 tracks that you're working on then. So is the new single just filling the gap then until the next release, which could be, is it going to be an album or is it going to be another EP?
I think it'll be an album for sure. Yeah, the single was just filling a gap, but we might. We've talked about re-recording it and putting it in the album.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how it turns out, and you know whether it fits. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. See what happens. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have something in the that sort of couple-year gap, but definitely I'm aiming for a full album for the next one. Maybe not like an EP or anything. A nice good chunk. I like a full album as opposed to kind of like wee bits and bobs.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, if you write 5 or 6 songs, why not add another 1 or 2, and actually you've got an album, you know? So you've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, it tells a story, an album, you know?
Yeah, I love albums, and I love having like physical CDs and stuff off albums with the art and everything's kind of a big part of it for me. I always think like Crew's just obviously just a kind of released online, so you can't really actually hold it.
Yeah,
can't physically hold it in my hands.
Yeah,
so it's never quite as good. But it's good to have a single. I think it's been quite a good kind of bit of practice, I guess, to have that recording sort of in between. So it's kind of like a stepping stone to the next kind of full length thing. And I think it's like a kind of middle ground between where we're kind of going, sort of sound wise and stuff as well. So that's great. It was good to get that done. So I'm quite pleased with it. But
So with the 15 or 18 songs that you've got ideas for, are there maybe like 3 or 4 songs that are near completed, or is there still quite a bit to go with a number of them? Or
I think we're at 5 songs now that are pretty much complete.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll still change bits, but like structures down, like lyrics are being written and stuff like that, you know. But so we're possibly halfway there, you know.
Yeah. So for those that are new to the band, then how would you say the new material compares to your earlier material? And do you think you've maybe found the sound that you've been looking for with the latest single and what you're writing just now?
Yeah, I think we're on the way there. I think it's probably heavier than the previous stuff, I would say.
Heavier,
a bit more extreme maybe in some ways.
Good.
But hopefully still got some of that kind of catchier stuff that kind of catches the ear, so to speak, a bit more than just full on extreme all the time. I like to have a bit of a mixed bag where you have like extreme stuff, but also kind of more catchy stuff like I think was on Pillars of Blood. So I think definitely Crew, as I say, was a good sort of stepping stone to do that kind of from one thing to the next. I think it's kind of pointing in that direction where we're kind of going. So yeah, the new songs are sounding pretty intense, I think, safe to say.
I think having an album as well that we've already done is a good place to be writing a second one. So, you know, I guess you've got a bit of experience and you know what you want to do and what you want to achieve and what you want to basically, I don't know, it's just experience, I guess. Yeah,
and it's good to have this time, I guess, to record all the like kind of actual proper scratch tracks for everything, programming drums and stuff as well, just so everything's kind of set and we can have all the songs, how many we end up having, like 14 or something. Recorded scratch tracks, vocals, everything, and then cut down, pick the best ones, and then go record those properly. So I think that will be the best way to do it, and you get the best tunes out of those, however many, to make the best album. Fingers crossed, anyway.
Well, you're actually talking to a death metal fan, really. So when you say extreme and when you say heavier, good.
yeah, we're definitely edging that way, I would say.
Can Andrew do his growls?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty intense. I think he actually finds the lower guttural stuff easier than the sort of higher, sort of more black metal-y, screechy stuff. So I think we'll maybe lean into that a wee bit more, a lot more kind of dual vocals as well. So we'll kind of double up, which we normally do anyway, but I think we'll probably have more of that and less. Normally we do the same things vocal-wise, we're just kind of doubling what we're doing. I think we're going to have a lot more kind of counter rhythms, counter melodies and stuff, like going over each other, a bit more chaotic. So I think it's going to be quite cool. I think that's something we're kind of aiming for.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it'll always be quite eclectic as far as, you know, heavier metal. There's definitely elements of death metal. There's maybe some hardcore elements. There's yeah, just sort of like
doomy stuff as well, and
doomy stuff, sludgy bits. But in all, I would say there's maybe a little bit more of a death metal vibe than there was before, but it's not death metal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that's another thing I love in the band, especially on the live front as well, as having dual vocalists.
Cool.
I just think it adds so much to the song, just different ranges of vocals. I just think it's just brilliant. Brilliant.
Not the same. I love bands that have like a gang vocal or like dual vocals. Like when there's a bunch of people doing it, it's always really cool.
Yeah.
Sapian, one of the other bands from Edinburgh, I'm sure you've probably heard of them, but like they do an amazing gang vocal. Zora, we were playing with last year as well. They have like really good like multi vocals. It's a really cool like sound, especially live. You're right. I agree.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, guys. So you also released a video for the song Cruor to coincide with the single release. So how was that made? How have the responses been for it in general? And could you go on a wee bit about what Cruor is about, please?
Yeah, I'll let Dan tell you how it's made, and I can probably cover how.
Yeah, Squee will have more of a grasp on what it's about, but yeah. So I'm trying to think exactly what happened. We had a kind of plan for a video. We knew the last one was more story driven. This one we wanted more band shots. We originally had this idea to be like shooting outside, but I think there was a storm. I can't remember which storm it was, but
Storm Dennis or something.
Yeah. So it was like February, March time. I can't remember exactly, or maybe a bit earlier. And so that kind of happened. Ryan, that was shooting the video, he was emigrating to USA, like within weeks of shooting the video. So it was like do or die. So we ended up just taking our practice space, putting some black drapes up, and just setting up like a live sort of setup, I guess. And it was pretty crammed. So he did a good job of actually making it look bigger than it actually is. But it was cool. So Callus had made the deer skull that you see in the video.
Yeah.
Just proper badass.
Yeah, it's cool.
And just like a bunch of props. Like he took care of all that stuff, and we just had fun and got drunk, and yeah, it was cool.
Oh fuck! I actually forgot how drunk Dan was. I actually just reminded me.
Yeah.
Dan the bottle of whiskey, the bottle of rum, like immediately, and I'd actually completely forgotten about that until right now. But
yeah, it was a bad idea.
Yeah, but it was pretty fucking funny because we were all quite drunk, just watching Dan trying to record. To keep it together, just absolutely steaming. Was good. It was a good day actually. Yeah, a couple of days, whatever it was, like 2 days I think we spent. But in terms of what it's about, tune-wise, Callus, Andrew, our singer, he writes all the actual lyrics mostly. This one was more about, we're kind of leaning towards this sort of primitive Neanderthal type vibe in this song as well as like the next album. So this one was kind of a bit about like prehistoric man and sort of viewing things like volcanic eruptions and stuff like that, and how they would see those and the type of stuff they might do, like sacrificing people to try and kind of please the gods, stop these things from happening. So that's the kind of background behind Cruor, was that it's all about people trying to basically say, we need to sacrifice folk to stop these volcanic eruptions and what have you, like natural events. So that was the kind of, I guess, the theme behind it. So the t-shirts and like the design we got, the serpent tusk, I think is the guy's name, was that. It's fucking amazing. Like cover art he did for it is kind of depicts this sacrifice for the big volcano and shit in the background. So that's the sort of, I guess, the theme behind it. And I think we're gonna kind of lean kind of heavy into this primitive vibe for the album. That's the aim anyway, because I think it's a cool kind of concept to kind of work off. I think it's easier or better to write things when I have a kind of, I know I write better tunes, better like kind of ideas when I have a theme to work around. It's a good way to kind of go about it, I think. So
that's actually a question I was going to ask. With Andrew being the vocalist, does he take care of most of the lyrics, or do you all chip in?
It's mostly just Callus,
90% is Callus. Sometimes, I suppose, more for the next album, we might do a little bit with the wee bits where that I'm doing back vocals, but normally when I just go to record them, he just hands me them and it's like, this is what you should have been saying this whole time. Because most of the time I forget, I'm just going to make this sort of the noise, that's the right noise as far as I can go. So he'll keep me right, give me it when we're doing the recordings and that. So yeah, it's 90%, 99% Callus, and then maybe the odd bit that we'll kind of chip in and say change this word here and there. But he does most of the stuff, and most of the themes and stuff as well is kind of coming from Callus.
Yeah. That must be a huge headache that you guys don't really have to get involved in. It's definitely a talent, you know, writing lyrics like that, you know.
Yeah, and he's quite a perfectionist as well. He'll go for like 100 versions of the song, you know, like version after version after version after version of the same like verse, just to get exactly what he wants. And he'll like pick it apart. Like back when lockdown first kind of lifted, Callus came around to mine and we were having some beers and just like writing some lyrics for one of the new tunes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's such a perfectionist about like, oh, I can't have that word. We've already used that word like once in this song, so we're gonna have to do something else, and it wouldn't make sense to have that, you know, other things. So yes, it's good though. Yeah, you're right. It can be a headache. So it's good to have somebody who's actually quite kind of passionate about it and quite into like constructing these kind of stories and stuff as well, which is kind of cool.
I'm hearing all these words like rum and beers and whiskey. Is alcohol a common theme when you guys get together? Is that how you get in a constructive?
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely can be. It's good to have a drink. I mean, I don't know if we're as like intense drinking as some bands, but yeah, it's certainly like to get together and have some beers.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm back living in Pennycook, though I can't drink at practice as much because normally I'm driving, designated driver, which is a bit shit. But when I was living in town, definitely would drink a lot more when having jams and that.
I was just thinking back to the video, like Dan was drunk the first day. I was just imagining what he's going to be like with the second day, like doing the video and stuff like that. He must be
yeah.
He didn't move at all. Nah, good.
Stand there with brutal loud noise and that, so it's not the best for hangovers. In trapped in a sweaty room wearing a like cloak.
No, excellent. Thanks very much. So, was there anything that you've done differently between recording the album to that of Crew or single, and would you take that going forward to maybe the next release?
Yeah, there was more of a thought put into how we wanted it to sound when it was finished.
Yeah.
The first album was just kind of like, we've got these songs, let's record them. But then, oh, my signal is going funny. But then, yeah, for the single, it was more like, right, let's try and nail down like the guitar tone. I had a fair idea how I wanted to sound, and then, yeah, I guess just in general, there was just just more thought put into it. And I think doing the next album, for me certainly, I'll be more thinking about the mastering and mixing stage of things.
Yeah.
And just spending as much time as possible getting the sounds down, because playing it's only part of it really. It's you know, totally. You have to have an idea, and you can't just necessarily rely on someone to like produce it and mix it with no direction to go in as well.
So do you think
I can enjoy that side of stuff as well.
Was the recording of Pillars of Blood, would you say it was a wee bit rushed? Do you wish you had another week or something like that to record it, or were you quite happy with it?
I don't know if it was rushed. I think we had quite a lot of time. We did it with Jamie from King Witch. He recorded it, and Kruger as well. He recorded both. So it was similar, I would say, in terms of the actual process, like the mechanics of how we got it done.
Yeah.
I don't think it was rushed. I think that it just wasn't as planned out ahead of time. You know, once we had it all sort of recorded, we kind of worked out kind of as it went. We're like, oh, actually, this sounds cool. We should go with that. Whereas I think going forwards, we'll probably have more of a plan of action, and we're going to be like, this is what we want it to sound like, this is how we're kind of looking for it production wise, general kind of theme and stuff as well.
Yeah, I imagine next time we'll probably book a couple of weeks rather than we did things in stages with the album. So it dragged out, and there was more excuse for it to take longer and longer and longer. Whereas if we just go away for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, and just only focus on recording a decent album, it'll be more fun, and we should get a better result.
Yeah. Well, best of luck with it, guys. I hope it all works out well, and be sure to send it to us when you get all recording and whatnot, because we'll certainly review it, and we'll certainly promote it as much as we can from our end. So yeah, looking forward to hearing it. So things seem to be fairly settled on the band members front then with Iron Altar. So when constructing new material with the band members having their own personal taste in music, how would you say you keep it all together? Like, for example, when negotiating what stays in and out of a song?
You're right that we do have different tastes, I think, but not like a wildly different way that we're all going to be banging heads, and arguing about it. I think we like a lot of the same stuff, but we also kind of have little touches of other things that maybe some people like that other people don't. So it's normally pretty amicable. We don't really get into big arguments about like what it should or shouldn't sound like.
Yeah.
But I think I like lots of different elements of lots of different subgenres of metal. I know you're like saying death metal. Love bits of death metal. I love bits of like sludge, thrash. All these different types of doom. I like elements of them. I think everyone else is probably the same. So it's kind of cool trying to get bits that I like out of each and kind of combining them into something that sounds, kind of fairly unique. But no, we're not like arguing, shouting at each other about what should or shouldn't sound like, to be fair.
So there's no fisticuffs in the studio then, Dan?
Yeah, I don't think we've had a single argument, to be honest. Maybe it'll all blow up in our face. Of a massive almighty argument, but nah, it's never happened.
Yeah.
No.
Nah.
Pretty easy going, I think, mostly.
If a certain bit, then it just we just don't do it. We just move on and change it.
Yeah. So
that's the thing, is committee in it.
So you've had pretty much the same lineup since before the album, haven't you? 2018, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been us since 2016.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's some rapid changes in the early days.
Yeah,
I joined after like Nick left, and then there was some other changes like straight off the bat. But once we've got the five of us, I think we're pretty sort of solid set now.
Yeah,
fingers crossed. At least there's no sort of nasty surprises or anything. But yeah, no, it's been good. So I think we all get along pretty well. Nobody's like too much of a dick, which is always good.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Well, you need to be a bit of a dick, but
Yeah.
So let's go on about the songs then. So where do you record and rehearse your songs?
We've got a sort of private space, I guess. There's a bunch of different bands in it down in Leith. So it's cool. So we get like 24-hour access. You can jam pretty much most of the time. You share it with a few bands. So we're in the same room as King Witch and Sapien.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just kind of, there's a bit of cab sharing and stuff like that, but it's cool to have our own space and our own sort of time to just deal with stuff. And for me, storing gear is the biggest thing because I'm a little hoarder. So somewhere to hide it. So it's not in the house. It's ideal.
And Dan's turning up every other week with a new like 4x12. Like, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
I had to buy this massive cab for no reason. Only got like 3.
Yeah. It happened.
So is the rehearsal space, is it all like taped off and you've got to stand there and you've got to stand there and all that nonsense?
No, there's there's hand sanitizer and like there's a booking calendar so you can record who was there and when, and you don't get any overlaps and stuff like that. And you wear masks in there and stuff like that. But it's our own room. There's a few guys using it and it's spread out within a week. So I don't think we've bumped into anyone in the corridor even over the last month or so.
Yeah, it's been dead quiet. There's not that many people. I think a lot of people are kind of staying clear anyway. But yeah, I mean, just taking sort of precautions. That's no different than going to work, I guess. I'm still working 35 hours a week. I've got to go into a building with hundreds of people, so it's not any different than that really. But no, just sort of general stuff, and just sort of keeping it clean and not leaving it as much of a shit heap as it normally is. It's probably a good idea at the moment.
So you're quite local to the rehearsal space, and is it quite easy for you all to get to? Is it a bit of a trek for people?
It's not too bad. Bottom of Leith, like me and Skoogs, our bassist, we're in Pennycook, so maybe like 35, 40 minutes or something in the car. It's not that bad. No. But it used to be a lot better when I was in town, but everyone else I think is pretty close, aren't you? Just along the road, really. So yeah,
I'm like 20 minutes in traffic and I'm there, so it's not too bad.
Cool.
It's
So you
amazing
must
having
be,
your own place.
aye. So you must be quite close to the guys in Dog Tired then, Neil, are you not? Like
I
they
am.
from Pennycook as well, yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, growing up with Dog Tired boys.
Just,
Luke's my brother-in-law.
let's see.
So,
I take
yeah.
that back then. I take that back.
Yeah. No, feel free. But yeah, no, absolutely. I've known Dog Tired since I was maybe 13, 14 or something. First kind of gigs at the town hall.
Aye.
So yeah, it's a big influence on me, and to be fair, in terms of bands and stuff. Kind of growing up with them and seeing them kind of doing it and thinking, oh, actually, I could do that. Just need to get some boys together playing a band.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. No, we know all of them. There's a lot of musicians, a lot of folk who play guitar into metal and stuff from Pennycook, so it's good.
Aye, cool. I interviewed them a couple of months ago. They're a good laugh, you know.
Yeah, I saw. I watched the interview actually at the time. I remember.
Good guys. So unfortunately, as we're talking about live shows, there's not going to be any shows in the near future then. So did you have any plans for the summer, and have you got maybe any plans for next year or anything like that? Or are you just going to concentrate on the album just now?
We did have plans. So in March, when we released Cruer, it was to coincide with like a couple of weekends with the guys in Zora. So we were supposed to do 3 gigs in Ireland and then 3 gigs over here. And then, I mean, I think lockdown kicked in like the week before we actually released Cruer anyway. Yeah, that obviously didn't happen. And then this month we were supposed to be doing 10 days in a row, and we were going back over to Ireland and Wales, down London. I think we had a few in the works for like South England, and then finishing up with Badgerfest. But obviously that's not happened. So next year, I haven't bothered booking anything. I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think there's any point in even trying to do it. Yeah, I'm happy writing, so I'd rather just do that, and then once we've got a sweet album, then think about it, you know.
Yeah. So how were the gigs in Ireland? So I think you've played there not quite recently, but
we did it once. Yeah. We got through. I think it was almost a year ago now.
Pretty much bang on a year, I think.
Yeah. No, they were amazing. I absolutely loved them. We played Dublin and Belfast. Both very different gigs. Both were great. Belfast we played at Limelight. That's one. I was going to say Voodoo, but that was one we were supposed to play. Limelight, and we turned up, and there was like this big, massive stage where like sound guy was like incredible, like all this lighting and stuff, and like there's like 10 monitors across the stage, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And it was like, we're supposed to be headlining this. Do they know? Do they know that we're like nobody?
Yeah.
But it was a really busy gig. It sounded amazing. We had loads of fun, and it was just like we sold loads of merch, and it couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, great. And Dublin was cool as well. The venue was very much like like Banshee Labyrinth kind of thing. So it was like kind of a bit more sort of crammed in, like a sweaty corner, which we're totally used to. So that was really familiar and good fun,
So with the gigs in London and the south of England, were you going to do headlines, or were you supporting them, another band or something? Or
we've played the Dev a few times in Camden. So I mean, I think I can't remember what we were going to do. We played with Overthrow the last couple of times we've been down. So the plan was to have them play again, and like that's their hometown, so they would just headline, But I'm not bothered about that kind of thing. Just a gig's a gig. There's positives and negatives to playing at the start or the end or the middle. It doesn't make too much of a difference to me.
Yeah.
And you talked about Badgerfest as well. That's going to happen next October. So is that something that you're looking forward to playing as well?
I know Dan's been talking about it for a while. You were saying you've been trying to kind of weasel your way in there for a few years. Yeah. So it was good. It would have worked out perfect to finish on the Sunday night, coming back after all these gigs. So it was a bit of a kick in the teeth to have to miss it this year. But I reckon any gigs there are at the tail end of next year, they'll be well attended. When we do finally get back to it, because folk will be missing it. I know I'm missing going to gigs and going out drinking with the boys. So I'm sure everyone else will be the same. So hopefully next year will be even better.
Yeah. So just a wee bit more about Badgerfest. It's been building up quite a bit of a reputation for itself in the last couple of years. So how did you get to know John Badger, and how did you get on the bill?
So when we did the album and we were releasing it, we were trying to book gigs, just anywhere and everywhere. And I heard about Badgerfest, and I think it might have only had 1 year at that point, 1 or 2, I can't remember for sure. But yeah, it was like, big bills, seemed like a big venue, looked really cool. So obviously started inquiring. I actually heard that he did like a sort of monthly, I think it was a monthly night at Grand Central in Manchester.
Yeah.
So like, didn't get on the bill for Badgerfest. That's cool. Wasn't really expecting to. And we got offer of playing one of these nights. So we booked a few gigs. I think we did Birmingham, Manchester. I can't remember if it was Newcastle. So we did a couple of gigs over the weekend. And so we played there. That was really cool. And then we got the offer of an all-dayer at the Alma Inn last year. So it's just, just asking for opportunities, I guess. And he put on us a couple of gigs, and then he got in touch about Badgerfest. So yeah, it worked out. So yeah, I've been wanting to play it for a few years, so I'm excited.
There's a couple of really quite big bands. Not that I'm saying that you're not a big band, but there's a couple of big bands that are on the bill. So
yeah.
Well, I've been trying to get on it myself for the last couple of years, but I even got tickets for it this year and stuff like that. I'm buying. But certainly get down when I can. But it certainly looks like a good 3-day festival, and I think it's only going to get bigger and better. So I think it's a good festival.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm maybe showing my age here a wee bit, but before the internet, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends. So now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet has been a good thing for music and a good thing for Iron Altar?
I don't know.
Makes life easier in terms of getting stuff out there, but it's a lot of competition when everyone can just do the same. It's hardest to stand out when you're competing against tens of thousands of other bands doing the exact same stuff. So not in terms of music, but just trying to do the same thing. So yeah, it's good and a bad thing. I'm a bit of a Neanderthal, like I was saying. So I do kind of miss a wee bit of the good old days. But yeah, there's positive and negatives to everything. So
I think it's actually gotten kind of full circle for me, where there was a stage where there was just so much music you could find anything you wanted.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, there's too much music, I can't find what I want. So now I just listen to stuff on recommendation. So if there's a band I like, I've been, especially through lockdowns, I've been listening to so much music. I've been sending messages to friends being like, this is really cool. And then they send back, so if you like them, then here's some bands like it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't deal with playlists and Spotify recommends and all that stuff. So it's kind of gone, there's a touch of old school back in there, I guess. But
yeah. Word of mouth.
I've been talking to like Simon from In Extremis and John Cook from The Rain, and I've known these guys since like 1990 and stuff like that. So the bands have disbanded and things like that. But it was like tape trading. You would send a £1 note away in an envelope, and you get a blank cassette back, and you were just waiting for the postman to come every morning. But now it's just all the click of the button. Like you say, Neil, it's like 10,000 bands doing the same thing. It's like finding that jewel in the crown now. So
yeah, it's not easy, but it's nice that when somebody now recommends something to you, you can listen to them, decide you like them, and then immediately listen to everything they've ever done, which is kind of cool. That is a good thing. When you find out a cool new band, you're like, oh shit, this band's good, I'm going to listen to their first album like all the way through and just keep going through them. So
it's the same with you guys and your songs. And imagine when you finish the song and you listen to it, if you had maybe heard it in a shop or something like that, you would say, I would buy that. So that must be how you guys like finish your songs. Would I buy that?
Yeah, would I think of that? Does that sound decent? Does that stand out? Does it sound good when you listen to it after another tune? I always think that's the best thing. If you have a random like shuffled playlist from just established bands and then your song in the middle somewhere and it comes out. If it stands up, sounds as good as all these other ones, you're doing something kind of right, I think, in terms of production and just generally making it sound the way you want. If it stands out and you think that sounds good, you're on to our winner.
Well, unfortunately, Zoom is timed, so I've only got like 3 minutes left. That just gives us enough time for you to tell us about the guitars that you use for your recordings, or maybe I need to set up another 40-minute Zoom chat for you to tell us about your guitars. So what do you use for your recordings then, Dan? What do you use first?
Well, recently I got a new guitar. It's made by a company called Badgerfest.
Right.
It's the Espada, so it's like an offset sort of elements of a Jazzmaster, elements of Les Pauls, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, I've been using that for the last couple of months, it's amazing.
6 or 7 string?
Sorry?
6 or 7 string?
Oh, 6. Yeah, 6. No.
Oh, 6. 7 strings cheating.
Yeah.
What about you, Neil? What do you use?
My guitar's literally right here, but I've got a classic SG 2017 one. I've got an identical one in the other room. I've got some bare knuckle pickups, some war pigs in both of them, and I've got a PV Valve King as my head, so it works out pretty well. I've had the same head since I was like 17 or something. Yeah. It's a banger. Just keep repairing it every time it breaks. So that's my setup. Other than that, gonna stick to a nice kind of old school way of doing things as far as I can.
That's excellent. So what do you guys record in? What is it, D or?
It's drop C.
Drop C.
Drop C.
Yeah. Don't want to give all your secrets away. So, well, listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Like I say, when you get the album recorded, certainly drop it to us. I'm hoping this won't be the last time that we'll do an interview and whatnot, so we'll certainly promote it on our side. So get it to us. And all I can say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Guys. Best of luck.
No